So you can hear note. Right, now it's jumping up an octave there. If I play any other note, like if I play a B flat now, first fret on the fifth string, okay, it's doing it too. You can hear it go up there. I'm going to the second fret here. Keep in mind I'm muting all the other strings. It's done the same thing. C, third fret. Now that one doesn't seem to be freaking out. C sharp, D flat. The D here. In my experiments, I haven't really had any problems up in this area of the guitar, so I might just be not really making much of a point by doing this. But I think that if you compare the way the notes are decaying here versus the way they're decaying down here, there's a really big difference. Like I don't want to hear that when I'm playing. Nobody who I would be playing to would want to hear that. Okay, I've checked the whole guitar, like gone through and played every note. It's the A string open and then first fret, there you go, second fret. Sometimes I'm not doing it right now. But the other real big problem area is on the first string. Now if I go onto the first string, 8th fret, C up there, I can hear it immediately jumps up an octave, and you can hear it dying there. Now I was asking myself, is it something to do with the compressor? Well, it's not, because it did the same thing. It's just, I suppose with the compressor it brings the volume up of that decaying crackling so you can kind of hear it more clearly. But I mean, you need the compressor on anyway to actually hear the synth instruments, because they just don't have enough level on their own. So yeah, that's the real big problem though. Right? Now, by way of comparison, I'm just going to switch this over now to the regular pickup. Okay, so this is only using the mag pickup now. I've turned the volume right down on the GK, and what you're hearing is coming from my main magnetic pickup volume. Okay. Now, it's actually pretty good. Like, I can play minor ninths, flat second, and I can hear them both, and it's not really doing anything too terrible. It tracks great. It's really good if you're blasting notes like that. There's the C note. Okay, you can hear it's doing something weird with the octave. Maybe it is my guitar. I don't know, maybe it is. Because the other notes aren't doing it. You can definitely hear a fifth in there. It's one of these set with a +7 or -5 interval. Oh, okay, right. Well, that's... So maybe the point is that this is This is the magnetic pickup. This is the SY-1000 using the magnetic pickup. This is outperforming the GK, which is just a disgrace. The GK is like the reason that you get this device. If I just wanted this, I would have got an SY-300, or I would have used MIDI guitar, or I would have used Roxin or something on the iOS devices. The SY-1000, you know, is a fairly expensive device, and it was intended to replace the VG99, and it, quite frankly, it's good and everything, but I just feel like it hasn't quite come to the party. Like, the VG99 is a beast, and the SY-1000, of course, it's pretty cool, and it's got a whole bunch of really neat stuff. Like, it's got multiple instruments here, and like the way it's laid out with the controllers and everything on the actual device, it's a pretty neat MIDI controller. And the pitch to MIDI conversion is like as good as the VG99, if not better. It's got a few more options in terms of like the sample rates and stuff you might want to use for recording or for processing audio in your DAW or something. It's got its strong points. But, you know, I just want the GK to work. Now, I could probably demonstrate the same thing on a different patch. Like, let's try this one. Mono Porter sign. Okay, now. Hear that? Jumps up the octave. That's the open A string. Well, the tremolo bar doesn't really like that, does it? Okay, right, that's GK, and let's do the, now this is the OSC Synth, so, interesting. It's like a MIDI on-off thing. That note got stuck. I'd taken my hand off and it kept going. I had to play it again to get it to stop. That's like what happens usually with synths. Guitar synths. Okay, there's not really much point in demonstrating with the OSC Synth. The thing with the OSC Synth that I've found, and I've explored it a little bit, but not a huge amount, is that you don't get the crackles. You still get the octave shifts, but you don't get the kind of crackling kind of stuff going on. So I'm going to leave it at that, but these are the issues. So if you've got any experience like of your own with like the SY-1000, I encourage you either leave a comment here or something, or alternatively post your own video, like if it's not too much of a deal to make one, because I think the more people that kind of like get this out there, like maybe there's a greater chance that we could get BOSS to maybe pay attention. BOSS are a Japanese company. East Asian people hate losing face. Maybe doing something like this might make them consider the value of improving the image of their products. Okay, thanks very much. I hope you found this interesting and useful. I'll talk to you later.